wrestling. He could see himself in the ring with bulging biceps and an evil sneer, basking in the spotlight as he heard the crowds jeer. But Andy wasn't tough enough. Big time wrestling can be so rough. No, Andy wasn't tough enough. So he started wrestling women. Andy always dreamed of wrestling.
Boy, did they have a lot of excitement at the Mid-South Coliseum tonight. And the match that generated the most interest pitted Jerry Lawler against TV personality Andy Kaufman. And here's what happened in that match. Now, Kaufman has a headlock on Lawler, but Lawler turns it into a suplex, and Kaufman winds up on the deck. He is hurt, but Lawler is not finished. Watch what is about to happen. Now, Kaufman is going to win this match. Right? He's the winner right there, imagine. Okay. So Lawler is going to put a pile driver on. This is so illegal. And there's Jerry Calhoun trying to say, no, Jerry, don't do that. Don't do it. This is a pile driver, Mason, right here. And now watch. You think that doesn't hurt? Lawler put a couple of more on it before it was over. They brought an ambulance into the Coliseum. They put Kaufman into the ambulance, and away they go. Taking Andy Kaufman to the hospital. He is there right now as the ambulance pulls out of the Coliseum. Kaufman is in the intensive care unit at St. Francis Hospital. He has had a battery of tests, and it is believed that he is not seriously injured. He'll be in the hospital at least overnight. But one thing for sure, according to his manager, Andy Kaufman's wrestling career is over.
I'm his manager. I'm responsible for the growth of his career. And there's been such a negative reaction to his wrestling, especially on Saturday Night Live. Which was a show that his fans watched. Fans that loved him for years and years, suddenly, as a result of that show, turned on him.
I'm not really a wrestler. Through the last couple of years, and I've been doing it in my concerts, I've learned a lot about it by just doing it. But I wanted to recapture the old days of the carnivals, where before television, you know, wrestlers used to go from town to town in carnivals and offer $500 to any man that could last in the ring with them for 3 minutes. So I figured if I could offer a prize and make it like a contest, it could get very, very exciting. And it turned out to be like one of the highlights, one of the most exciting parts of the concert. But I couldn't very well challenge men in the audience because I'd get beaten right away. I mean, most men are bigger than me and stronger than me. So I figured if I challenge women, there are enough women who are almost as big or as big as me, who they would have a good chance to beat me. Whenever I play a role, no matter if it's a good, a bad, you know, an evil person or a nice person, I believe in being a purist and going all the way with the role. If I'm going to be a villainous wrestler, I believe in going all the way with it. I believe in playing it straight to the hilt.
So basically, I could live without the wrestling.
Well, the first time I ever saw Andy was at the Improv. It was late at night. It was his breakfast show. He used to have this show that he put on, or that he and Bud put on at 2 o'clock in the morning, where he had his, it was the whole talk show format, where in between the breaks he would abuse Bud, as, you know, the man, he'd break out of this very sweet character and become very abusive, and he had his talk to a what was it, I think it was almost, he had this talk to a has-been corner, where he had people I guess people who were not doing too well at the time, and he'd talk to them and ask them why things weren't going well. And I just sat in shock. It's like Andy's an acquired taste. It was something that you had to get used to over a period of time.
The first time I saw Andy was in 1974 in June, probably like around June 20th or something. I saw him at the Improv in New York. And he was this pathetic comedian who got up on stage and started reading from The Great Gatsby, and it was just like horrible, and we were so embarrassed that we were sitting there and watching him. And then all of a sudden he went into his Elvis imitation, and he was brilliant, of course.
One for the money, one for the show. When you get ready now, go get it, go, but don't you step 'em up, sway it, you can do it.
It was amazing. I saw him do outrageous stuff. It was always that he kept trying. He never wanted to be, he kept pushing it. So as soon as people saw one thing, he would do something else.
Thank you very much.
And he would speak in this little broken accent, the thank you very much little voice. And he would proceed to do impressions. He'd do an impression of Archie Bunker or of Ed Sullivan. And then he would go, and people would watch this, and they'd go, oh, this is awful. This guy's terrible. These are terrible impressions. Then he'd say, I'd like to do the Elvis Presley. And he'd turn around, and he'd strap on a guitar and a Presley jacket. And he'd turn back, and he would be Elvis Presley. And by then, the audience, this was the first time I saw him, and I was shocked. I realized that he had really put me on.
It was like Andy made himself the premise, and the entire world was the punchline.
Mr. Trouble never hangs around when he hears this mighty sound. Here I come to save the day. Yes, sir, when
At first, I wasn't taken with Andy. Andy got special treatment. When I first got Taxi, he was this guy that, had a special contract and who was supposed to have split personalities. And, I was from New York, and, he wasn't, I thought he'd last about a half an hour in the neighborhood I was from.
The mountains are wide and the oceans divide. It's a small world after all.
I mean, I thought that there was going to be this other kind of human being behind this performer that I had seen, and there was, but it was even more bizarre than the performer.
if I had a lady's lamp for only a day, I'd make a wish and here's what I'd say. And nothing could be finer than to be in Carolina in the morning. Okay, take it away, boy.
Part of the fun of seeing Andy perform was to see unsuspecting audience members sit there and go through the same thing that I had gone through when I'd originally seen him.
So anyway, it's called The Great Gatsby. It's by F. Scott Fitzgerald. And here it is. Chapter 1. In my younger and more vulnerable years, my father gave me some advice that I've been turning over in my mind ever since.
It was always interesting. You couldn't leave an Andy show without some opinion. It was something that he was one of the only people I saw that could make you laugh, piss you off, and then make you laugh again.
All right, now look, let's keep it down, please, because, we have a long way to go.
When you watched his career build, especially like being on Taxi and Taxi being such a large hit, it was a little strange when you started seeing him wrestle women, because it was, you thought at first, how quaint, and then later on it was like he's checking out with the baggage. He started challenging these women. He'd bring up 5 or 6 women and he'd have the audience pick.